What do you think of when you hear the word rules? What would you think of if I put the word rule and the word creativity in the same sentence? Some might think that the two can't work together. Some might think that rules constrain creativity and that we are only truly creative when we get to do whatever we want, however we want. I would argue that the opposite is true. I would say that when we put constraints on ourselves, such as rules, we are actually forced to push the bounds of our creativity. I'm reminded of one of Aesop's fables, the one about the crow and the drought. As the story goes, there was once a crow flying over a dry, parched land, practically dying of thirst and desperately looking for something to drink. As she flew, she spied a tall jar on the ground and hoped beyond hope that it had some water in it. She landed by the jar and looked inside, and to her great relief, she saw water at the bottom. Unfortunately, when she stuck her head inside, she found that her beak could not reach the water below. Driven by her thirst and her will to survive, she forced herself to come up with a solution to this dilemma. And in her desperation, she formed a plan. She noticed that there were some stones nearby. She picked one of them up and dropped it in the jar. The water level rose just a little higher. She took another stone and dropped it in the jar, making the water rise even higher. She did this again and again until the water was high enough to where her beak could reach it. Then she drank and was satisfied. The moral of the story is, necessity is the mother of invention. Now, we as writers will not be in such dire straits as the crow when it comes to world building. But just as the crow was limited by the length of her beak, we will have our limitations as well. We will be limited by the rules of our world. But this should not discourage us. Like the crow, we will be forced to be inventors. When I was in college, I once took a creative writing class from a very quirky professor who would give us limitations on our writing. He would give us titles and then have us write pieces that matched the titles. Or he'd have us write pieces that were exactly 200 words long. No more, no less. The reason he gave us these limiting exercises was for the sake of pushing the limits of our creativity. It was from this class and other experiences that I realized that rules don't constrict creativity necessarily, but can actually help it along. Rules force us to go beyond where our creativity is comfortable and force us into new territory. You will have an opportunity to have your creativity pushed in the next exercise. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. This was a lesson in my world building workshop for fantasy writing. You can get the full course on this playlist right here. And if you'd like to get the course without any ads or without any interruptions, you can get it on Udemy, which I'll include in a link in the description. So again, thanks for watching and happy world building and happy writing.